Jimmy Rollins, joins us on the show right now. Jimmy, it's Brian Kenny. Great to talk to you. Great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me, and I appreciate all those highlights. They still put a smile on my face.
You earned it. Again, we're going to get into that, but year 3 on the ballot. Now, Jimmy, I'm on the case. I think your vote total should build. Like, are you heartened by that to see that, hey, Larry Walker started low and Scott Rollins, and people started looking, hey, maybe we should reevaluate and take another look?
Definitely, especially in Scott's case, the guy that I got to play with my first couple of years, and I couldn't be more proud of because every time I sit next to him, I realized how good of a player he was, and I wish I had more time to play with him because I feel I'd have been that much better just playing next to a guy like that. So when you see it makes more tangible when you actually know a person and spent time with them to see him reach that pinnacle that, okay, I'm not too far behind him. And if things go well and I get blessed with enough votes, I'll be there. But if not, doesn't mean I didn't have one hell of a career.
Yeah, no, I know it's weird being on the ballot, and for now decades I've talked to players who are on the ballot. It's hard to talk about it, but you're broadcasting with TBS. You're in the media now. So, yep. Jimmy, when you discuss this with your colleagues, what do you make of how Hall of Famers are evaluated and try to evaluate a player's career to see if they are a Hall of Famer?
That's a great question because I talk to Pedro Martinez a lot, a guy that I spend every Tuesday with during the summer, a Hall of Famer, a guy who's still active on TV and in baseball. So he's seen the way baseball players are analyzed from when he played, during the times that we played together, and in the game today. And the game was just played completely differently. I wasn't playing for things that I guess guys are being analyzed for, and just how you get paid. And had I known that, maybe I would have approached the game differently. It was more, what was my job? My job was to set the tone, get on base, play defense, score as many runs as possible. That's what I went out there to do. I was always told to walk, get on base more via walk, but never told the reason why. And I was always brought up, especially being a smaller guy, that no one's going to walk you. You have to hit your way on base. You have to hit to earn everything. So I went out there and approached it that way. And it was more about setting a tone. But when you look at the analytics, maybe those were some of the things that I could have taken advantage of, but those things were also never explained to me. So players in today's game, if they aren't using the tools that are at their hand, really, the agents know, everyone knows about it, GMs. You could go and talk to these guys. What do I need to do to become a better player? How do you guys evaluate players today? Those doors are open, which they weren't at the time. It was just you were told to do something, and you did it to the best of your ability. So for today's player, if you don't use those tools to learn how to get paid and also how they evaluate you so you can be a better player in their eyes, you're doing yourself a disservice.
Right. That's fascinating, by the way. So great to hear you say that. And I try to explain to people, your incentive system was different, right? You were incentivized to do different. Steve Garvey, people who talk about Steve Garvey bring that up. Steve Garvey, he drove in runs. He played every day, did exactly what was asked of him. It's like, well, your on base is low. I wasn't even looking at my on base.
Right,
right.
So
let me throw in now. I think now more than ever, your durability should be valued because, again, load management is in baseball, too. Here's 9 years of Jimmy Rollins. This is for you fans out there. Look at his averages. He averaged 155 games a year at shortstop, leading off. Jimmy Rollins averaged 717 plate appearances a year. 717. We don't approach that now. 104 runs scored per. Not only that, 179 hits, 39 doubles, 10 triples, 16 homers. That's not nothing. 36 steals per year, 287 total bases. Jimmy, give me your, again, over 14 years. I'll throw this in too. Over 14 years. It wasn't just a short period. You averaged 675 plate appearances a year over 14 years. So, again, there was no replacement player for you. You were it. You're a shortstop. What was your attitude toward playing every day?
More so I can answer when I didn't play, I felt I was in trouble. It was like, what did I do wrong? I didn't think about days off. And every once in a while I have a manager, Bo, whether it was Bo or Charlie, asked me if I needed a blow. And it's like, nah, that's my job is to be out there. And I may not be productive offensively at this moment, but I'm still going to do something defensively. I can change the game in some type of way that I felt I needed to be out there, whether it was making a call on a hit and run, switching on a steal, all those little things that if I'm on a bench, I can't do. When I'm out in the field, whether I'm hitting or not, I can still have an impact in my hand on the game. So that's what it was, going out there every day, showing up And regardless of what I was offensively, my number one job was always to play the best defense and stop runs from crossing home plate.
Yeah, I'll put it this way. Try to explain to me. You are a general manager's dream. If you're saying, give me 14 or 15 years of you, right, you can build a championship club, which they did. But, right, 155 games a year, every single year, leading off shortstop, 700 plate appearances, the way you fielded, the way you approached the game, impact bat. Right, you can win. You win championships like that. All right, Jimmy, I want you to look at this now. Last year's vote totals for holdovers. Bunch of players on the precipice. Todd Helton, Billy Wagner, Andrew Jones, Gary Sheffield, Carlos Beltran is on there, too, before you get to A-Rod and Manny, Vizquel, Pettit, Abreu. Mark Burley is there, K-Rod, Torrey Hunter. Who are you big on? Just you throw out 1, 2, 3. Who would you say, hey, you know what? I would give this guy a vote.
There are a couple. Billy Wagner. I admired what he did. He came in, and not really until the end of his career that he started, I guess you could say, allowing runs to cross the plate. He was a shutdown closer, a lefty through 100, wasn't trying to trick you. You know he was coming at you, throw the ball in when he got in trouble, but he was electric, and always felt the game was over. When I got a chance to play with him, I couldn't wait to get to tonight with the league because I wanted to see the smoke. And another guy's a guy that had a huge impact on my career, especially from around 05 through 09. That's Gary Sheffield, as I call him, Uncle Chef. What he was able to do with runners in scoring position, whether he led off, batted third, he could play you a good defense. When he was younger, he used to steal, but it got to the point where they said don't run. So he stopped running, and he turned into and continued to be one of the best power hitters in the game at that time. And I don't know, what it is that people hold against him, but he's a guy that was dynamic in every single way. And if you needed a guy to bat in the middle of your lineup and produce runs, he was going to drive in runs. He would take that ground ball to second base with a runner on third to get him in. Then he'd also turn around, hit a double in the gap to right center. If you came inside, then that was damage.
You know what? I have to throw in now, it's PEDs, right? He was in the Mitchell report. There was but I don't. You can believe what he said or what Andy Pettit said. That said, hey, I used this for a very short period of time, and I don't know. What is your view on that? Because actually, a lot of guys who are juiced in your era, Jimmy, they're making your numbers look a little lesser. You know what I'm saying? So right. I'm willing to, with Sheffield and Pettit, I'd like to believe him. I'd love to give them both a vote. You tell me, what's your view on PED guys on the ballot?
That's a good question. I think there's a place for them, and I get it that, the guys that were using PEDs, yes, they had an advantage. Did it make them a better ball player? In my eyes, yes and no. If you have a skill set, that happened before PEDs.
It helps, though, Jimmy, right? It helps. And it's not, I'll just throw it, they're not cheating me, yeah. They were cheating you.
Right. And look, that's fine. Not say that's fine because my dad was a bodybuilder, so I'd been around guys that had used steroids and whatever they needed to get big. My dad would always say, "Look, he's just renting a tuxedo," but that has nothing to do with my, that's nothing to do with my character. I want to go out there and do it my way. Yeah. So, what I tell people when I explain, it's when you get to the, August and September and October, when everybody else is, basically just, it's a battle of attrition, they're still at 80% full in their tank, and you're trying to hold on. That's what makes the difference, in my opinion. Now, is there more to it? Possibly, but in my opinion, it's just that when you're starting to tire, they still have enough energy to go on. So if they're good, when you're starting to fall off, they're reaching levels of greatness that you can't see. So I get it, and just my personal relationship with Chef, and maybe I'm biased, I know him. He's always been a stand-up guy and an honest guy. And I know there was a time we were supposed to go hit together, and he called me a week later. It's like I left because what was happening, what he saw was crazy. So when he says that it was a short time or he didn't know or he didn't do it, I believe him because he's never been anything but honest with me.
I'll say this. You have to go case by case. Not blanket. Yeah. Go case by case. I'm with you on that. Last thing, Jimmy, Chase Utley makes his debut on the ballot. What do you make of that?
Yeah. Yes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be just fun to see how many votes he gets, how people see him. Playing next to that guy, you get to see his baseball IQ, his leadership style, which is different from mine. But it worked. It worked for the team. It's like we had sets of guys that we would take over and kind of lead. So what we were able to do together was special. And there it is, the number of games that we played as a shortstop, second base combo. And if you talk about me as a shortstop, you're talking about a second baseman, a guy that you could count on to be there every single day, giving everything he has to the game, putting himself and a team in a position to win. That's Chase Utley.
Yeah, you guys were a dynamic championship combination, right? A winning combination, and that should matter when it comes to Hall of Fame voting. I think he gets a decent vote total, and I think that helps you as you go on through the years. Jimmy, pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully we'll do it again, and we'll look for your vote total this year. I got to spike that up a little bit.
Let's go. Let's get it.
All right, Jimmy, thank you so much. Take care.
All right, BK.